Thank you so much for staying with us here on Enugu Kwenu. We do apologize for that extended break. This is a special edition of the show, but we did not anticipate the technical glitch that we just experienced, trying to connect to our guest who would be joining us live from the summit this evening. So like I said, this is a special edition of the show, and we're going to be encountering at least a 5 to 10 second delay in gaining his response. So we have to be patient to ensure that we're able to work with the network situation that we have right now. We are joined all the way from the service venue, of course, that is Amadio Event Center, by Dr. Ifediora Amobi, an official of service and also an economist. Thank you, Dr. Amobi, for joining me this evening.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, all right, thank you. So, of course, we've just had the first delay. That was definitely close to 10 seconds. But let's head on straight to your experience of the summit so far. How would you rate the speaking engagements, the workshops? What would you say that you have gained so far, especially as to what this summit could do for the Southeast, using Enugu State as a case study, as your example?
Yes, thank you very much. The summit has been quite successful so far. There were, of course, a minor glitch.
All right, evidently the network situation is definitely hindering this interview. We've been having this network challenge since this evening, but we'll try to reconnect with our guests, take a quick break, and when we return, we'll see if we can find a better connectivity. Definitely there's something going on with the network situation at the venue, but just hold on tight. We'll be right back with the guests. Stay with us.
Welcome to Afia TV, your go-to channel for excellent news and incredible shows that keeps you IEI, that is, informed, entertained, and inspired. Need a break?
Ladies and germs, welcome to Lunch Break on Afia TV.
Join Choco to vibe and chill on Lunch Break at 2 p.m. for the latest trends in music and entertainment.
Not like I have big money.
Dive into the world of innovation and creativity with Rochelle on Anka.
It means art in English,
where creative minds and groundbreaking ideas come to life. Tune in every weekday at 8 p.m. Do not miss Afia TV Official, your perfect dose of laughter, where they discuss what is currently trending on social media every day at 5:30 p.m. on Afia TV.
But in this economy, the savings will save you, man.
And that's not all. Stay tuned for more exciting shows on Afia TV. Catch us on DSTV channel 254 and GoTV channel 17.
Good evening to you, viewer, and welcome to Women in Business, a show that profiles women, executives, and even the next door store owner, showcasing Igbo greatness to the world.
I started always obsessed with books ever since I was a child.
The stress of always converting naira to dollar and
an incompetent means an incompetent person.
What are your thoughts on the spate of sex for grades in Nigerian universities?
This very issue of owing salary should be criminalized.
How can they amplify their voices?
People don't have evidence.
You want to get to know about it? Have to stay tuned right here on Afia Morning Show to get the pulse and the feel of that.
Hey ladies, join us on Gyno Plus every Wednesday at 6 p.m. right here on Afia TV, DSTV channel 254 and GoTV channel 17, where we will delve into health issues affecting girls and women in society.
Breastfeeding doesn't even cause breastfeeding. The frequency of breastfeeding means the approach you take to make sure that your well-being is maintained.
Welcome back to Enugu Kwenu on Afia TV, and we do deeply apologize for the network challenges we're having this evening connecting to our guest joining us from the Southeast Business and Investment Summit venue this evening. The summit will be winding down quite soon, as we know it's been going on since earlier this afternoon, but let's gain insights from him, or try to gain insights yet again on his experience of the summit so far. Dr. Amobi, thank you once again for making our time to leave the summit to be on this program today. So tell us what you think you have gained and what there is for Enugu and by implication the Southeast to gain from this summit so far.
Yeah, thank you very much, and welcome back again. Yes, we've gained quite a lot of insight since it started. We've had a number of guest speakers. We've had some goodwill messages. We've had the keynote speaker, and you know, a number of things that have actually come out so far are things like collaboration between states. So in other words, the 5 states of the Southeast must collaborate to form a regional bloc. And it is within this regional bloc that they can now, you know, have a good development agenda and a plan to
I think we've lost him yet again. The network signal is just absolutely terrible. So what we have to do... All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
That have been created in the state.
Go ahead.
I should go ahead?
Yes, yes, please.
Okay. The Enyimba Centenary City has actually, you know, is actually on. The Anambra Mixed-Use Industrial City, as well as the Enugu Lion Business, you know, city. So there are quite a lot of you know, innovation hubs that are being put together by the states. But one of the things that came out, and some of the strategies that some of the speakers recommended so far today, is that there has to be collaboration within the states, so that, you know, states are not really duplicating efforts. You know, that's one of the key things that has actually come out so far. And so, but it has been quite enriching. The crowd here has been quite excited. The attendance has been quite well and you know, quite good. And so far, right now, the second sessions have started. The plenaries and then the breakouts are going to follow much later this evening before it eventually winds down for the day. And then it continues tomorrow with more breakout sessions, more presentations, and then it ends on Friday. But so far, it's been quite, you know, quite good. We've been able to achieve some of the objectives of, you know, coming up with strategies on how to increase businesses in the Southeast, how to increase income, increase revenue, and then grow the Southeast economy. Also, a lot of vendors, where I'm sitting right now, there are lots of vendors displaying their wares, small businesses that have now, you know, that are showcasing what they can do in the Southeast, most especially in the SME sector. Yeah, and so all these things are, you know, manifesting themselves, and it's been a good experience so far.
All right, now let's jump into one of what I consider the most important thing, and that is implementation. Because you can have so many ideas, you can discuss so many things at the different breakout sessions, during those sessions, but at the end of the day, what matters is actually implementing these ideas in the Southeast, and that is my major concern. So what are measurable means that service is going to put in place to ensure that the beneficiaries or participants of this summit are able to implement all the lessons they have learned during this period?
Yeah, well, at this point at the summit, implementation is actually direct, because one of the key things that the summit wants to achieve is to promote partnership.
All right, we do apologize. We believe we've lost him yet again. The network is absolutely terrible out there, but I'm sure we're going to be able to connect with him yet again. And I'm happy that at the end of the day at the summit, implementation is top priority. He talked about the 5 regional area blocks coming together to strengthen the Southeast. He talked about the need for partnerships to ensure implementation, but he wasn't able to get his points across. I hope that we're able to, connect with him so he can actually stress that, because that is the most important thing. No matter how many summits we have, if we don't have people that are ready to implement those ideas, it could just get watered down and, go down in history as one of the many summits that we've had. So, Dr. Amobi, if you can hear me, please go ahead with your line of thoughts, the critical implementation side of this summit.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Thank you very much, Natalie. I can hear you. Yes. And so what I was saying is that implementation will come when the recommendations, the final recommendations of the summit, have been presented, and a plan is actually drawn out, an implementation plan. It's the implementation plan that will now be presented to the states to now implement. If there are policies that will be recommended to be changed, if there are reforms that need to be applied, or if there are other things that the participants or the investors are recommending that the states provide, either infrastructure, or opening up marketing or financing. Those are some of the things that will now be part of the implementation plan that will be presented to the states and now followed up in terms of monitoring. So, yeah, so at this stage, we're not worried about implementation yet because the ideas are still coming out. It is just the first half of the first day of this 3-day summit.
Targets of the summit is to create some sort of regional bank to ensure that it's a regional bank that operates in the Southeast. And I'm curious to know how this is going to work and how such an idea would be financed. Would you mind sharing, insights on this idea of a regional bank? Because we have dreams. The government has dreams for the Southeast. All the 5 Southeast governors have dreams, but financing is always a problem. Hence, you hear people crying out from time to time about the taxes that are typically crushing them and their businesses. So tell us about this idea of the regional bank briefly, and what areas you think are most viable for investments in Enugu State, the most viable sectors for investments in Enugu State. Those 2 areas, very briefly.
Well, yes. Yes. Now, the idea of a regional bank, within the summit here, the idea is actually to establish an investment fund, to actually establish an investment fund up to the tune of $1 billion geared towards financing micro, small, and medium enterprises. And so the summit hasn't actually gotten to the part of where the modalities of a regional bank has been presented. That hasn't been presented yet. But an investment fund, $1 billion investment fund for investors is what has been put on the table. How that is going to be financed would be from at least one of the sources would be diaspora funding, external financing, and then local or domestic financing. Now states can also key into it and then contribute to this fund, but it will be geared towards ensuring that there is capital for the small and medium enterprises that want to grow in the Southeast.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Amobi, for joining me this evening and, of course, for giving us more insight on this summit. We know there's still a long way to go, and we understand that there's another guest waiting. It's also involved in the organization of this summit to give us more information about what is happening and what this means for the Southeast. Thank you once again, Dr. Amobi.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
All right. Do have a great day ahead. We'll go on a quick break now. When Enugu Kwenu returns, we're joined by a special guest to give us more insights on the targets of the summit and, of course, the critical area of connectivity. We're looking at airfares rising high, transport fares are becoming unreachable, and people having to travel down to actually invest in the Southeast. We'll find out if service is taking into account these connectivity challenges from the Southeast to other parts of the world, and gain more insight from this special guest. Do stay with us. Enugu Kwenu returns in just moments. Thank you for staying with us. The program is Enugu Kwenu on Afia TV, and my name is Nathali Uku. Thank you for staying with us despite the technical challenges we're having with network this evening. We're joined now yet again from the summit by Mazi Dr. Sam Uwabunwa, who is the chairman of Ohaneze Council of Igbo Business Leaders, present at the summit holding at Amadio Event Center, the 3-day summit that just kicked off at 9 a.m. today and would continue till Friday. Thank you so much, Mazi, for joining me on this program.
Thank you for inviting me.
All right, thank you. We're having a 5-second delay, so we always have to wait for each other's responses. Now, let's look at the idea of this summit and how you feel about this as the chairman of the Council of Igbo Business Leaders. How does this summit make you feel, and how do you think that the ideas at this summit, the agreements reached at this summit, can be integrated into society correctly to advance the cause of the Southeast?
Well, thank you. I believe that this summit is in tandem with our mission and vision in the Council of Igbo Business Leaders. Our desire is to use the platform of business to develop Igbo, to become a uniting opportunity to bring development for our region. Because I think that one of the things that we have as a comparative advantage is business. Everywhere in the world, the Igbo is known as business people. So why don't we harness business as an opportunity to generate development for our region? We can leave politics away, leave all those things that are divisive, and use business, which is cross-cutting for the Southeast, for the Igbo, and use it to bring our people together and develop our region. So this summit is in tandem. What is being spoken here is what will accelerate the growth of business in our region.
All right.
And not just the theoretical concept, but importantly to attract people who have the desire to come and invest in the region.
What do you consider the key challenges facing businesses in Enugu State in particular? What do you consider the key challenges that could drive prospective investors away, and how can these challenges be addressed in the coming year?
The first for me in the not just the Enugu State, in the Southeast, it's the attitude of the government. If we have a government that has the right attitude an attitude that is conducive, is inviting for business and investors, then that is number one thing. When you want to see the governor or any minister or commissioner, you're not begging, you're not being kept waiting. You will not apply, nobody will reply your letter, nobody will respond to you. That's the major thing, keeping away distances, is the behavior of our public servants. Number two is the environmental factors, the major one being security of lives or perception of security, because in Nigeria and in the Southeast, the perception of insecurity is exaggerated. We need to know what to do with that. The third is, of course, availability of infrastructure. You know, affordable infrastructure, affordable transportation infrastructure, affordable energy infrastructure. You know, then lastly is the availability of the skilled manpower, of the relevant skills that will be needed in the industry or the business you're dealing with. These are the main issues that I think we all must address to bring businesses in Enugu State and in the Southeast.
All right, thank you so much, Mazi, for joining us on Enugu Kwenu today. And we hope that, the government hears your stance on this and looks into these critical issues that could hamper investment in the Southeast if not checked. It was a pleasure having you once again, Mazi. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me. God bless you.
All right, we'll take our final break now. When we return, we'll have another guest that'll be joining us very briefly before we end Enugu Kwenu for today. Thank you for staying with us. Do stay put exactly where you are. Don't touch that dial. Welcome back to Enugu Kwenu on Afia TV. As we slowly wind down, we have one special and essential interview we're going to be conducting right now with the Chief Executive Officer of Eyimba Economic City Development Company, a strategic global business hub in Africa. And of course, that is Mr. Sidal Uzu, who is currently at the Southeast Business and Investment Summit holding here in Enugu State. Thank you, Mr. Uzu, for joining me on the program this evening.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so I have to ask, I understand that the summit has just come to an end for today, that everybody is basically checking out of the summit. What would you say that the Eyimba Economic City has gained from this summit today, and how is this summit going to help advance the targets of Eyimba Economic City?
This is the first time we're exposing the project to the Southeast. Yeah. We have exposed the project. It's a project we've been on for the last 7 years. For the last 7 years. And we're at the stage, yes, it is a project that will make a difference. No, it's not. Sorry, please stop. It's recurring, but stop.
All right, Mr. Uzu, we are still live, but I think he's having some sound trouble. Perhaps he's getting some feedback where he is. So we'll try to rectify it. But it's important to know that Eyimba Economic City is also on the organizing committee of this summit, which is an annual event that is going to be repeated, well, every year. So every year, hopefully, it is expected that we see a summit such as this happening in the Southeast, of course, and maybe Enugu would remain the base for this summit. So we're still having network trouble with Mr. Sidal, but unfortunately, we're out of time for today's program. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you for being a part of this show. And we still sincerely apologize for the technical glitches that we had today. Network is evidently a challenge at the venue of the summit, and of course, is affecting us here back in the studio. I've been your host, as always, Nathalie Uku. This is saying thank you for watching, and do have an amazing evening ahead. Join me next week for more insightful and, of course, less turbulent sessions on the show. Bye for now.
Welcome to the latest and most amazing show on your ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Lunch Break.
You don't sing along.
I did sing. For real.
You're not a backup singer.
That's what they do.